protesting, these are the 17 things that the protesters should ask for. Okay, hello everyone, welcome. Now, most Nigerians are out there today protesting, about the economic hardship in the country. And it's understandable because no matter where you are, what level of status you are in this country, you'll be feeling that a little bit. Because if you're not feeling it, your dependents are feeling it. So somehow everybody's feeling it. If you're not feeling it, you'll be feeling it in the exchange rate. Everybody somehow is feeling the economic downturn. However, for today, I like to find that when you look at all the protests that are happening all over the world, especially in Africa, you find out that the things that the protesters are asking for, some of their requests, sometimes are not even, something you can take home, can take to the bank. So today, I would like to, because at the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, the essence of a protest is that at the end of the protest, you should be able to have some tangible look at the entire process. Nothing came out of it. Look at the protest in Kenya. It's almost as if they're asking for things that are not even going to leave lasting changes. You see, look at the NLC. They shut down the national grid for what? For $45 a month pay rise. They shut down the national grid. The NLC shut down the national grid, shut down the country. The country lost billions of dollars. Why? So that the government can give them 70,000 naira, $45 per month as national minimum wage. So it's not enough to protest. That's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the protest, what do you gain? What is the benefit? What do you leave with a protest? What do you see? Even if you succeed in getting the government to listen to you, like it happened in Kenya, what are you going to? What is the essence? So for me, here are 17 things that I've mapped out that the protesters, us as Nigerians, not just the protester, everybody, we are protesting. Even if you're not out there, except you're in government, because people in government might not really be feeling the effects. But if you're protesting, these are the 17 things that the protesters should ask for. Now, these 17 things that the protesters should be asking for is not just because it's that 17 things that when they succeed, when the protests succeed, if you get these 17 things, then you have a lasting economic benefit. You see, that these things will provide lasting economic benefit for the country. You see, so I'm going to be running through these 17 things now. So stay tuned. Number one. So the number one thing, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, my humble opinion, that the Nigerian protesters should be asking from the government. Number one, this is for me. Number one is the change of the name Nigeria. What does Nigeria mean? First of all, let's even talk about this. What does the name Nigeria? What does it stand for? Nigeria. What is Nigeria? Nigeria, it's a name that was given to this country by Flora Shaw. Flora Shaw was Lord Lugard's mistress, girlfriend at the time. So it was Lord Lugard's side chick that gave us the name Nigeria. No, we need to be serious with ourselves. Imagine if you give birth to a child and you're calling the child, or let's say somebody is an orphan. You grow up, you're an orphan, and you're growing up, and all of a sudden you find out that your name means madman, or crazy person, or foolish, and you continue to answer that name. They ask who gave me this name. They say it was the person that adopted you that you live with. He didn't like the way you used to behave, and he gave you the name foolish. Will you not change the name, Nigerians? If you find out that the name that was given to you by people of questionable intentions, will you not change the name? Is it not enough time for us to change the name Nigeria? It's a question. First of all, Nigeria was never meant to be a country. Nigeria was a business. Nigeria was a business that was run by the Royal Niger Company. The Royal Niger Company put up together in an area called Niger area. So that Niger area was a business. The Royal Niger Company ran their business in an area called the Niger area. They called it the Niger area. So they were taking palm oil, cocoa, different businesses in this Niger area, which consists of the place called Nigeria today. In the year 1900, January 1st, 1900, the Royal Niger Company sold like a slave, sold the area called Niger area to the British government for the sum of about 850,000 pounds. I don't know, around that figure. Are you listening to what I'm saying? They sold the country, the area called the Niger area, that whole area that they were managing, they were their business company. That company, the Royal Niger Company, today is known as Unilever. Unilever acquired that company. So Nigeria was never formed to be a country. It was a business venture by the Royal Niger Company. And when it was time, they sold the business venture to the British government for the sum of 850,000 pounds. Around that figure, you can confirm the figure. So what am I saying? Before, you will need to go back to your history to begin to understand where your problems are coming from. So the number one, the name Nigeria has to be changed. So that is the first request that the protesters should be putting on the board to the government of Nigeria. That the National Assembly pass a bill, the way they change the national anthem, that the name Nigeria be changed. To what? I don't know, but we all can all agree what we should be called. No, someone else is not allowed to give us a name. Lord Lugard's side chick is not qualified to name us, to name me personally, or what I should be called. That is the first thing that the protesters should be asking for, a change in name from Nigeria to a name that we all agree we should be called. Number two, our currency. For goodness sakes, please, for goodness sakes, why is our currency today 1,600 to the dollar? I don't understand why. On what basis do we have a currency today that is 1,600 to the dollar? How did we arrive at a point where our currency is 1,600 to the dollar? Why? Do you realize that in the 1980s, not around the 1980s, 1970s, that one Nigerian naira was bigger than the US dollar and the British pounds? Do you realize that if you were a civil servant in Nigeria and your salary was 3,500 naira, you will go to London for holiday, you will shop, and you will buy everything, your flight ticket, you will shop. Do you realize that Odumego Ojukwu, the former governor of the Eastern region, he had a Rolls Royce as a student in Cambridge and Oxford University of Cambridge. He was driving a Rolls Royce. Nigerians, when they traveled in the 1970s, they went abroad, they went to the UK and the US to shop and come back because their currency was heavy. So who authorized the reduction of the Nigerian currency? Let's look at the currency first of all. Let's look at Japan, China. I think the Japanese yen is about 150 to the dollar. The Chinese yuan, renminbi, I don't know, maybe it's about 200, I'm not sure. You can check it out. But these people, their currencies were devalued. Why? Because they are an exporting nation. Look at all the cars, Toyota, Camry, all the cars that are being driven all over the world. They are manufactured in Japan. Look at all the products that are being used all over the world. They are manufactured in China. So they are exporting. Because they are exporting, it makes sense for their currency to be devalued, so that if you have $100 and you go to China or Japan to buy something, by the time you change the money, the ability for you to buy a lot of things will be there. So Nigeria, what do we export apart from crude oil? Nothing. So our currency should be reversed 2 digits backwards. In fact, 3. Our currency, the first thing that we'll be asking that, first of all, the government should change the name of their currency from, as it's changing the name of the country, change the name of the currency. 2, inside the number 2, the currency should be reevaluated and pegged to gold. We have gold, we have bitumen, we have oil, we have what's this one that is raining now? Cobalt. We have the one they use for making electric cars, the battery. If I remember the name, you all know what I'm talking about. We have minerals. We can peg our foreign exchange to gold. and bring it down to about 20 to $1 at least. That is the request. Then the government of Nigeria should take that request to the International Monetary Fund, take that request to their friends, and let's sit down with the international community and say, we want to recalibrate our currency because our currency is not, there's no reason for we to be paying 1,600 to $1. There's no reason. Any protest that you're protesting that does not take into cognizance this negotiation, not just with the Nigerian government, but with the regional government. Look at which we can, we can have an ECOWAS currency that is equivalent to the euro or something close to the euro. That is the number two. That should be on the proof of things that the protesters should be asking for. Number two. Number three, the system of government in Nigeria is too expensive. See, the American system of government, which is the presidential system of government, is what we copy. So you have bilateral, what do you call it? Representative. You have Senate and you have House of Reps, just like Americans. In the states, you have America even have two in the states. So this is what I'm saying. The protesters should be asking for a change in the system of government of Nigeria. Let's have a parliamentary system where the legislators are part-time legislators. They are also ministers. Some of them will be ministers, some will be part-time. Okay, so their salaries, if you don't have anything doing, you're not. It's too expensive. And it's too lucrative that people are willing to die. So you don't get quality people who really want to serve. You get people who are looking for aggrandizement, people who are looking for source of livelihood. That's not what the legislation is. A place for you to serve. So if we change the system of government to a parliamentary system of government and change the way the legislations are paid and change the way they function, for example, all the ministers in the Tinubu's administration should be members of the parliament. So they're already being paid as ministers. So they don't need to be paid as parliamentarians. Then the other parliamentarians are part-time. They have other things they are doing where they earn their money. So they collect their little sitting allowances and they serve their people. Everybody lives in a local government. So the local government should get 70% of their locations. Okay? So the system of government needs to be changed. Number four, judicial reforms. The judiciary needs to be reformed. Nigerian judiciary, see, is about one of the most corrupt judiciaries in the world. And one of the reasons is because they are underpaid, number one. Number two, the judiciaries are being appointed by the president. Okay, the president appoints the governors appoint the chief judges, the president appoints so all that process of appointment, and again, their salaries, their emoluments and their benefits are paid by the federal government. This has to stop. So there's a need for. See, each of these topics will take about 20 videos to expatiate. So I'm just going to keep it simple and short. Judicial reforms, where the judiciary is autonomous, they have autonomy in their finances, they have autonomy in their appointment, they have autonomy in their decision maker, and the judiciary should be held accountable. A system of accountability where the chief court judges cannot make laws, they cannot Supreme Court judges pass judgments and they get away with it. They appoint their siblings, their children. All of that has to be done. So there needs to be a judicial reform. Those are the things. Number four that protesters should be asking for. Number five, electoral reforms. The INEC chairman of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should not be appointed by the president. Imagine if me and you, Arsenal and Manchester, are playing a football match. Then it is Manchester that is appointing the referees that will referee the match. That does not make any sense. The president cannot appoint the umpire in a match that he's going to play. He is a contestant in an election. If he appoints the umpire, which is INEC, the chairman of the INEC, if the president is one who appoints him, what do you think the chairman of INEC, will he not be favorable to the person that appoints him? that appoints him. So there has to be electoral reform. Electronic voting for people in diaspora. You talk about electronic transmission of results. All of that has to be looked into. Then death penalty for people who rig the election, because you see, it's so important. The election of every country, if the electioneering process of any country is destroyed, that country is destroyed. Look at America. America is fighting to make sure that this electioneering process is protected. So if you don't have a proper electioneering process, if you don't have a proper reform in the election process, you will continue to have hoodlums and people who are not competent appear and be able to come up to government. If people who snatch ballot boxes do not get prosecuted, arrested, and sentenced to death penalty, you will not have elections that are peaceful and that are credible. So that is number 5, election reforms. States should no longer be paid based on their population and all of that. States, there should be a productive system of revenue generation and a system where federal allocation, is shared by the states. Federal allocation is shared. Everybody just comes to Abuja and share. It has to stop. It has to be based on production. Every state has the capacity to produce and be sustainable. So the sharing formula has to be looked into, a reform in the sharing formula. We can all come together and decide how that is, but there has to be a reform in the sharing formula. Then the governors in Nigeria, yay. The governors in Nigeria are like kings. They are czars. They are rulers. Nobody can question a governor. Do you know? Look, I saw a governor one time. He went to an event and he dashed the people there 300 million from the state government. He went to some artists came to his state. I don't want to mention the governor in the south. Some artists, Burna Boy and some artists came to his state and he gave them 200 million. He's just giving, I was asking, if this was your company, if the governor was the owner of a business, will he be dashing out money from the business like that? So every governor should be audited 6 months. Every 6 months, you audit the governors. So a complete restructuring of the governance system, the financial autonomy, the financial system of sharing and productivity has to be looked into. That's number 6. 7, this is so important that I've mentioned it, but I'm repeating it again. Local government must be made to function in this country. In other countries, municipalities and counties are the rulers. They have all the resources to develop their county. Local government should get 70% of the revenue. So we should restructure. There should be a bill passed that local government should get the system, the majority share. And again, we might have to look at parliamentary system, as I mentioned, and a regional system of government. The way the government is placed now is too much work for the president to have to oversee the whole country. So a regional government of the 6 geopolitical zones having their own regions, managing their own regions, is what is needed. So these are the things, because at the end of the day, after your protest is done, the whole mess will continue. But if you have these reforms done, even if not immediately, but you put into motion, you will find out that the country will be all better for it. So, number 8, movement of cattle from one place to another should be banned. These Fulani herdsmen that are moving cattle, they are human beings too. Why don't you build a ranch for them, put schools for them, put hospitals for them? The people that are encouraging, I saw a senator in the House of Assembly that was asking that the Fulani have, let that senate, all those senators that are supporting the free movement of cattle, let them bring their children, let their children carry cattle from Borno State and trek all the way to Enugu inside bush. That's a hard life. So, and let ranches be developed for cattle herders, so that they will use the most sophisticated farming mechanisms, and it will lead to a seizure of the farmer herders conflict, and there will be peace for the farmers to go to farm and produce. Number 9, local governments are to invest 40% of their revenue in education, in healthcare, and in food production. A law should be passed that local government, as they get the lion's share of all the revenue, because everybody lives in a local government, even the governor himself lives in a local government, that local governments should spend mandatorily 40% to 50% of their revenues on health, building health centers, providing access to quality education, and ensuring that productivity and farm food production is made available in their area. That's number 10. Anybody who is contesting election in Nigeria must participate in a debate. Let the people assess you. All these President Buhari refused to participate in a debate. President Tinubu refused to participate in a debate. This should stop. It should be put into our laws that anybody who is contesting for any office must participate in a debate so that the citizens can ask you questions, so you can engage with the citizens and know exactly what the citizens are expecting from you. Avoiding debate should be a thing of the past. These are the things that the protest should ask for. Insurance scheme for every Nigerian, just like the NHS in the UK. If every month everybody in Nigeria pays a certain amount of money for healthcare insurance, it will amount to trillions of naira and billions of dollars. That money can be invested into healthcare, just like you have in the UK, so that everybody will have free healthcare because everybody is paying for your healthcare. And if you look at the local government, the Okada men are already paying all sorts of taxes to some people, garage, all sorts of taxes. The market women are already paying taxes. If you take away all those taxes that they are going to individual hands and convert that taxes to national health scheme, insurance scheme, where everybody contributes money every month and big hospitals are built and doctors are paid international wages and hospitals are equipped, then you will have a world-class health system in Africa, in Nigeria. Number 12, number 12, abolition. See, Nigeria spends millions and millions every year to send people to Saudi Arabia to go and do what there. They say they're going for Hajj. Then they spend millions to send people to Israel, they say for Christian pilgrimage. Why is the federal government of Nigeria spending taxpayers' money to send people to Hajj and to Jerusalem? That's a waste of money. That should be scrapped immediately. Anybody who wants to go to Hajj, if you work hard and you have enough money by yourself, or maybe in the churches can contribute and send people, or the mosques can contribute and send people, that should be abolished so that the money that is being spent on Hajj can be spent on more meaningful resources. Number 13, we should ban importation of foreign use cars, foreign use textile. Why would we be wearing clothes that they have worn in America? They are finished wearing. People have worn those clothes for 20 years. They will come and bring it, and our people, that's what we buy. We call it okrika. Even the boutiques, they go there and take and sample it. That should be banned. Most of the cars that are imported into the country as foreign use cars, those cars cannot pass emission tests. That's why when they talk about climate change, I laugh. You use your car finish and you ship it down to Africa. Those cars cannot pass emission tests. So those imported cars should be banned and factories set up to manufacture textile. Those are the things that I expect the protesters to be asking for. Long-term benefit. Because if textile companies will spring up all over Nigeria, there'll be employment. New car production and assembly plants will spring up all over the country. There'll be employment. So a total and complete ban on imported clothes, a total and complete ban on imported vehicles, and except important machineries like agricultural tools and others, but used car banned. But 14, creation of industrial parks like Shenzhen in China. Creation of listen, Aba is an industrial hub. Kano is an industrial hub. Kaduna is an industrial hub. Ogun State is an industrial hub. Ladigbo, Lagos is an industrial. Creation of industrial hubs where industries can thrive. Different industrial hub. Lagos, Yaba is an industrial hub for tech. Yaba and Victoria Island. Then some part of Ikeja, but Yaba and Victoria. Creation of industrial hubs across the country for different industries like they have in China. Those are the things that I expect the protesters to put in to put in the demand to the government. Because it's not at the end of the protest, what do you get? You go back to square zero. But if you put all those things into the protest, you put all those demands, even if all of them are not met, if the critical ones are met, you find out that at the end of the day, in the next 5 years or 10 years, you have a country that works. For number 15, this whole thing of appointing people from Abuja to come and be commissioner of police in Enugu or to be commissioner of police in Borno State, it cannot work. There must be state police and local government police. Listen, if you're looking for a criminal in Borno State, The locals, the people in that village, they know where the criminals are. If you're looking for a criminal in Oyo State, the people in Oyo State, they know where the criminals are. If you're looking for kidnappers in Benue State, the people of Benue State, they know where the criminals are hiding. If you have local state police, these people will be able to go and fish out the criminals. Of course, we know that the governors and the local government chairmen may abuse them. That is why we come together to look at how to mitigate that by passing laws to mitigate that. But this should be in the request of the protests for a long-term benefit of the country. Number 16, please, the name honorable should be removed from all our what are this? Oh my god, this is so funny. The name honorable should be removed. See, the British colonized America. Okay, the British colonized the rest of the Commonwealth, but America, they looked at it and the member of the House of Reps in America is called Mr. Look at him, Mr. John from Ohio, the gentleman, Mr. John. Remove honorable, that excellency, honorable, all those things. Remove it. Most of these people, only a few. Most of them are not honorable. Why would you see somebody stealing? You see this person is stealing. Every day he's stealing. You see, like the one they caught with Agbada that is choking out, he's stealing dollars. You're seeing, and you're still calling him His Excellency. Why are we doing this? You see somebody, the person is a thief, a criminal, and you're calling him honorable. So honorable should go. They should call them by Mister. If you're a chief, they call you by your title. If you're a doctor, academic title, they call you by your PhD title. But you see that honorable, it has to go. Number 17, overhauling of the educational system. See, the educational system we have today is a joke. For example, when I was in junior high, I was being in secondary school, I was being taught that Mungo Park was one that discovered River Niger. How? It's until recently that when I started being a critical thinker, that I asked myself, how can you say Mungo Park discovered a place where my forefathers used to go and fetch water and catch fish? So there's something wrong with our educational system. The history of Queen Amina, the history of the Borno Empire, the history of the Oyo Empire, the history of the Kanuri Empire, the history of the Bini Empire, the history of the Kalabari Empire, the history of the Igbo empires should be taught in our schools so that our people will know their history. We should not allow the Europeans rewrite and teach us our history by telling us that it's Mary Slessor that stopped the killing of slaves, or by telling us that it was Mungo Park that discovered River Niger. So the educational system needs to be overhauled. Okay, there has to be an overhauling of educational system, and our educational system is tailored to administer. The people that graduate in engineering in Nigeria cannot do anything. Most people that read computer science in this country, and I know quite a number of them, they cannot do anything. They cannot even use a computer. They can't. Even the ones who can, it was when the people like us, when we left school, that we had to go back to go and really learn the thing that we are supposed to learn. We understood it because the educational system is not. The educational system should be overhauled. Let the educational system be more skill acquisition intended, just like MIT. You cannot graduate from MIT and not be able to design. If you cannot graduate from computer science from MIT without being able to open a motherboard and be able to work on it. So the educational system needs to be overhauled so that the people who are coming out of Nigerian institutions will be people who have the capacity to be able to lead Africa to the next level. So these are the things that if the protest takes care of, you will find out that in the next 10 years, as these things are being implemented, because they cannot be implemented immediately, as they're being implemented, you'll find out that the country will be better for it.